Our students, today we're gonna talk about what's called back testing, how to do back testing. So what is that portfolio back testing? I am Joseph Bonaparte, Associate Professor in Finance at University of Colorado. I'm Director for Externals. I do consulting for institutional companies in big companies in the world. Today I'm gonna talk about back testing. What is that portfolio back testing? Suppose you have a portfolio now and you want to know how much is going to be return and the risk for your portfolio. So, and these are the two characteristics, the most important two characteristics of a portfolio, which is the return and risk. So how you would know how much you risk and return? So to get that, then you have to learn how to do back testing. The back testing gives you this. And the way we work is we take your portfolio as of now and we look in the past 5 years data, and we see how this portfolio performed relative to the S&P in the past 5 years. Then you can do some inference. Now, sometimes you can do back testing, portfolio back testing post-COVID, which is a year or two. So sometimes the people ask you how the portfolio did post-COVID, or how the portfolio did before COVID, or how the portfolio did during COVID 20 to half of 21. So that would be specific periods, but all of these are back testing. When I say back testing, I mean risk, which is the beta or the return. How we do it? Simple. You regress the portfolio expected return in the past 5 years over the market return. And alpha and beta are the parameters. What is RTP, which is our Y? Your own portfolio performance. The RM is a market performance, and we use the S&P 500, and we use a spider as a proxy for that. And then you have alpha and beta. Alpha is the excess return in your portfolio relative to S&P. Beta is the portfolio risk relative to the S&P. So these parameters, alpha and beta, are the excess return in your portfolio relative to S&P. The beta is the portfolio risk relative to the S&P. So what we want usually, we want to have a high alpha. That means you have an excess return in your portfolio. If alpha is bigger than 0, then you have outperformed the market. If alpha equals 0, that means you mimic the market, and this is good for passive investment. A lot of investors or funds managers, they want to have a passive investment, so they go buy portfolio with the 0 alpha. If alpha below 0, that means your portfolio underperformed the market and your excess return is negative. The same with analyzing portfolio using backtesting. If beta greater than 1, for example, if beta equal 1.2, that means your portfolio is 20% riskier than the market. If beta equal 1, then the portfolio risk is like the market risk. And if beta less than 1, that means suppose beta equal 0.9, then the portfolio risk is 10% less than the market risk. So by construction, the market risk equal to 1 as a benchmark. How to calculate the return? The S&P is simple. You go to Yahoo Finance, you pick the spider ticket, and I will show it to you how you get the data. Your own portfolio that you have, how to calculate your RP is a little bit tricky, but if you have a Bloomberg terminal, you can do that in a few minutes, not big deal. But if you don't have a Bloomberg terminal like most of the students, or you have to go to somewhere to have access, you still want to work from home, then you can use the Excel. I'm going to show you how. So how to calculate the portfolio return? Suppose you have 3 stocks in your portfolio. One is Amazon, 40,000. You have $100,000 in Apple. You have 60,000 of Google, as of now, suppose. Then the entire portfolio value is 200 because 40 plus 100 plus 60 is 200. Then the weight of Amazon from overall portfolio will be 20%, which is 40 divided by overall. And Apple 50%, which is 100 divided by 200 overall, and Google 30%. The sum of the shares should be 1. So how to calculate the total portfolio return? RP equal 20% of Amazon return plus 50% of Apple return plus 30% of Google return. If you have more stocks, then you continue add. If you have 2 stocks, then you only 2. And then you calculate the return in the past 5 years, you regress that over S&P, and then you get alpha and beta, and then you can do the back testing. Now I'm gonna start with collecting data and do the empirical side. We're going to go back to the slides. So I'm going to go to Yahoo Finance. I'm going to start collecting data for my company, Amazon. We're going to go with the example that demonstrated in the slides. AMZN, Amazon. Okay. And then you go historical data. And then you go here, you say 5 years, and we work monthly, and you do apply. You download the data. That's Amazon. And then the return for Amazon equal return equal to the close price, close price end of the month minus the close price beginning of the month, and everything divided by the close price in end of the month. That's a return. Double click, so that's Amazon return. I'm going to call it R AMZN. Then we're going to go to the next stock, which is Apple. We're going to go AAPL. And we're going to say monthly again, 5 years, monthly apply, and download. And then we're going to do the same R of AAPL, which equals to end of the month, beginning of the month divided by the beginning of the month. Boom. Done. That's for Apple. It seems I have Amazon twice, so we'll do it again to change. Should be Apple. We go again. Monthly, 5 years. Apply, download. Now, Apple, the adjusted close is different than the close sometimes because Apple has dividend. Amazon doesn't have dividend. So that's the reason there's a difference between adjusted close and a close. You're always going to use the adjusted close. So that's for Apple. And then you have to do for Google. So there are two tickers for Google, one different, but same pretty much. Historical data. 5 years. Monthly. Apply. Download. Also, Google doesn't have dividends, so the close should be similar to the adjusted close equal to 7. So R Google equal to this minus early of the month divided by beginning of the month, we said. Okay, so now we got December 2017 till now. The only thing left is S&P, which is we're going to use a spider, SPY, spider. And we're going to do the same spider for the S&P, historical data. By the way, if you go to spider, the beta is 1. The beta for a spider, beta is 1, because by construction, the S&P is the benchmark portfolio. Therefore, the risk is 1. If you're above 1, that means you're taking more risk, your portfolio or the company has more risk. Right, and the S&P has some dividend from other companies, so here will be different. We still have to use adjusted close. So our S&P, and will be equal, same story, adjusted close because they have some dividend also. So I was gonna go with the adjusted close, not the close. And double click, and we're done. All right. So now what we need just to put them all together. That's S&P. I'm gonna name that stocks. So we have Amazon. That's Amazon. We have our Apple. That's our Apple. Copy. Go to Amazon. Now right-click, do values. If you didn't do values, you get something wrong. If you do like this, you get different number. You have to do values. And now we need to get the Google. Right-click, copy. Go back here. That's a Google. Values. And then from these three, I'm going to calculate the RP, or portfolio. And in this case, our portfolio equal Amazon times 0.2. You have to see in your portfolio how much Amazon, how much Apple, 0.5 multiplied by Apple plus 0.3. So that's, you have to calculate manually the weight of your portfolio for every stock. 0.3 times Google, and that's your portfolio return. Double click, and let me make the bigger here, a little bit bigger, so you can see what we've done. So the return for Amazon is end of the month price, year of the month price divided by year of the month. So that's just how we do it. And then RP is basically the weighted average of these three stocks, Amazon, Apple, Google, and that will give you the RP. All what we need is the S&P, and we're done. And that's S&P. Right. Then right-click, copy, and you go back here, and you put values again. Make sure it's values. Values, and then we get everything we need. We need to trim the data in the bottom. So this doesn't make sense, the last two period. No problem, we can trim them. So we don't need those for now. We're just gonna go with what we have here. Okay, so how we're gonna do it? We go back to the slides. We're gonna regress the model in a slide number, which is two numbers actually, 3 and 4, same model. So we're gonna go back here and do the back testing. For if you want to make it nicer, you can do view. So that's if you go down. All right, and if you want, you can do that. So file, how to do the regression options. You go file options, add ends, and you do go, and you need to check boxes of those three. But if you didn't, okay, I unchecked them. You should check them. So if you see that, go to the data, there is nothing here, but we need something here. So you go file to get those. You go file option, add ends, go, and you check these three boxes if you want. And then something will come back here, come up with called data analysis. You click on it and you say, I want to have regression. Okay. And then what is your Y? Your Y, let's go back to the slides. Your Y is RP, which is market, your portfolio return, and your X is RM, market return. So our Y is our portfolio return. Our X is the market return. We need to have labels because I included the first row. Constant is 0. No, we need the constant non-zero because we need to calculate the alpha. And okay, boom, we're done. So what is this portfolio? This portfolio has an access return of 0.008 access return or alpha. This is alpha, which is equal access return. And it is, and this is equal 0.008. But this is monthly at the annual level. We calculate that at annual 12 multiplied by this. That means this portfolio give you 10%, almost 9%, and we can do it in percentage. For mid-sell, percentage 1.1 is enough. So yeah, but 8.9%, this portfolio beat the S&P by 9.8% in average in the past 5 years. So that's alpha, and I will make it yellow. The risk, let's make the risk, which is beta, or beta. Well, it is this one equal, which is this. This is risk, 1.17. And this one, I'm gonna color them with something like a gray. And then it means that the portfolio risk is 17%, 17.5 higher than the market. So your beta is 1.17. That means it's 17%, which is equal to this minus 1, the benchmark. That would be 17. And if you want to do in percentage format, percentage, and then you do only one, then you have a 17% that we talked about it in our analysis. So this portfolio gives you 10% more, but the risk is 17%. So do you like that? So some people don't like to take 17% risk more for 10. They say, okay, I don't want the 10, just give me the market risk. Some people like to take risk, then this portfolio will give you an access return 9.8. So let's go back to the slides because we're done now. So our alpha in this case, in our model, I can show you the results. We can go another slides here and put it here. And we can say that our portfolio gives us 9.8% plus beta, which is 1.175 multiplied by RM. So alpha is, in this case, alpha is equal 1.175. That means access return of the portfolio relative to the S&P, and beta equal 1.175. So the portfolio is riskier than the S&P with by 17.5%. Now it's your choice to calculate whether you like that or not. Now, there is something called risk-adjusted return, and I want to talk about it. In this case, a risk-adjusted return. So you take an equal, you take 9%, 8. For extra risk. So how much if you divide the excess return by the risk that you're taking? So still positive. Still positive. That should be this one. 0.8, sorry, 0.8 should be 0.8% here. So it should be 0.8. Multiply by 12. Yeah, it is. Multiply by 12, it's 9.8. So at the monthly level, the access return is point this, and then everything multiplied by 12 So then the excess return, risk-adjusted return, which is the key quantity that we care about it. Let me give it a different color, blue, no, something, okay, orange. So the bottom line, your portfolio giving you excess return of 9.8 at the annual level. The beta doesn't matter, monthly or annual level, 17.56% higher. And then the risk-adjusted return, your portfolio is 8.4%. So that's pretty much what I call back testing. I'm gonna do rename here, and then back testing result. And then here data, I'm gonna name it. And then you will have this in your folder. I just wanna finish with something here, the R square reflects the fitness of the model. If it is, and it is between 0 and 1, 0 is perfectly unfit, whereas 1 is perfectly fit, and in our case it's 0.7. That means nice, very nice. I like it. So the model reflects the results, so we can trust this model. So our excess return, our alpha is 9.8, our beta 1.17. That means 17% the riskier than the market. And then let me put a different color here just to show that it's different. And then the risk adjusted is 8.4. That's pretty much what we have about back testing. Thank you so much for joining this video, and I hope you learn a lot about back testing. Thank you.